Super excited to have another guest on with us today to share her purpose, journey, and story with us. Please give a big welcome to Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Stephanie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, if you want to just tell us where in the world you are, where are you from? Where are you currently? So we can get an idea.
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, but I do love to travel a lot. So if you follow me, you might see me in other places, but my home base right now, anyway, is in Vancouver, Canada.
Beautiful. And just like the other stories, I'm going to hear this journey and story along with you. So I want to ask you, Stephanie, just to take us back to the beginning, those aha moments that looking back, you can see were the starting steps to unraveling your purpose to where you are today. And the floor is yours. Let's hear your purpose story.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, well, it's got to go back to when I was like in my early 20s. I had at that point had been really suffering from a very severe eating disorder for like most of my high school years. This started probably when I was about 13. And like when I say severe, like it was bad. Like I was in the hospital and like, there was lots of stuff around the eating disorder, not just about food, but depression, anxiety, all the kind of accompaniments that go along with an eating disorder. And it was actually when I was at my lowest weight, like okay, I'm about 5'7". I was 89 pounds at this point, and I was just so lost. I knew that I was unhealthy. I knew that I didn't even look good anymore, but I like couldn't stop. It was like this, it was an addiction to losing weight. And even though I knew I didn't want to lose any more weight, there was still this weird satisfaction of seeing the numbers go down on the scale. And my family and I had just gotten back from a trip to Disneyland of all places, and I'd barely eaten the whole time. I don't think I even ate. Like I had this weird thing of like only eating or drinking like smoothies and things, and I was like, that's safe. Crazy stuff. But I was afraid. I could feel that my heart was like giving out, and I knew my mom wanted to put me in the hospital, but I was just like not having that. I was so like stubborn at the time. But there was a night when I knew she wanted to take me to the hospital. We had a big fight. I'm like, I'm not going. But that night I could feel like my heart palpitating, like, and it was scary. And I've recently now reconnected with God, but at the time I mean, of course you believe in God, you say, oh my God, and all that stuff, but I hadn't really connected with God like I have now. But for some reason, I like got out of bed and went and got a Bible and like brought that Bible to bed with me and just like clutched it to my chest. And even though I didn't really know scripture at the time, Psalm 23, I believe it is, the one where it's like, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I was just reciting that in my mind and just fell asleep with that because, like, I don't know, even though I had all these negative thoughts of like, I don't even want to live anymore, like, something in me obviously wanted to live and cried out to God in the only way it knew how. And the next day, my mom had to force me into the hospital. Like I had to like be taken to the hospital against my will, but it was God's will, right? So it was a whole kind of journey into recovery. And it wasn't like a full-on recovery. It wasn't just like, okay, I'm better now. Like that was like the first of many. It took many like recoveries along the way to really get me out of that. And like that was probably when I was about 21. And my early 20s, I was still kind of like dabbling in the eating disorder a bit. It was never as bad though, because I don't know, God saved me for a reason. I didn't realize he saved me, but there was something that had changed in that moment. And it's like I knew a part of me didn't want to live that way anymore, because like nobody wants to live that way really. And I did get counseling, I did start seeing people, but it was honestly wanting to realizing that underneath all the kind of pushing people away, because when you're in an eating disorder that's severe like that, like it's not you, but it's like the disorder itself, which I honestly believe is like, a form of like the devil, honestly. Like it like really takes hold of people. It's a very specific kind of like evil that gets into people and just like really like takes hold of your like, your worst fears and insecurities and like turns it all against you. um but it was realizing that I didn't really want to be alone. Like, yes, I do love my alone time. I'm quite introverted, but I really wanted to connect with people, and I couldn't connect with people if I'm being all weird about food. It was like meeting a guy who ended up being like my first serious boyfriend. And I remember being like, I want to go on a date with this guy and go to a restaurant. I don't want to be weird about food. It's kind of simple things, but over time I was like, realizing that I am here for connection. I'm not here to just be alone and be miserable in my tower by myself, and yeah, it took a lot to really break out of that, but it had to come from me, like, yes, God willed it, but I knew God is not someone, he's not someone, he's God, but you know what I mean? He doesn't like force himself into your life unless you ask. And, even though it was his will for me to like, be more outgoing and be more with people, it had to like come from, I had to choose it, right? So, like, I remember that was still, like, dealing with, like, depression around all this stuff, and I went to just a doctor, and I was like, "I need help." And, asking for help has not been an easy thing for me, like, now it is a bit more, but I started seeing counselors, I started seeing, energy healers, actually, and I went into more, like, the spiritual route of, like, healing, and, like, kind of fast forward a bit, like, I was, working with, like, a certain energy healer, I actually did some writing work for her, we went on a retreat to Greece, and she actually told me about this leadership training course. And I was like, leadership? I don't know about that. But something about leadership called to me, even though I was like, I don't know if I can lead anybody. It was more about leading myself. But in this program, I actually met a woman I ended up writing a book with, and a woman that I'm now running my business with. So it's like, oh, there's something to this leadership thing, right? So all of that like kind of came to like now where I've since written a couple books. One of them became a bestseller. I have another one on the way. And I also run a holistic health business. All this stuff around health and healing and leadership. It's like I had to go through like the worst of the worst for me to get out of it and be like, just my thing now is all about overcoming, like, even in my fiction books, which fiction is like my big thing. My big dream is to like have my stuff on the big screen and like on TV and stuff, but it's all about characters overcoming some kind of adversity within themselves and without, of course. But through that, they find their ultimate power. Because I believe that's what I've found, going through like facing all that stuff around the eating disorder. It's like that was all really just blocking me from my real power, which is to, help others and lead others and show others that you can have like that life that you've always wanted if you're willing to work for it. Like you can get out of whatever you're in. Like a lot of people I help right now are looking to build wealth and not be stuck in the matrix and be like working like trading time for their money. So I help them do that with my online business. And then also with my writing, it's like having that angle of transformation and showing that, through characters and like a fun story that you can overcome anything. Actually, the things that you think are probably your weakest things are actually like a greater strength within you if you face it and overcome it.
That is so beautiful. So first, just want to thank you for sharing your story. And the things that stuck out to me the most was that when you were first sharing about your purpose or getting the healing, it's not a one-time fix. And that is such a real thing that people think that, oh, the first time you get fixed, you should just be all better. But it's always going to be a struggle. Like every day we wake up and we choose how to face those adversities that we have. And so, it took you multiple times of dealing with this to finally overcome it. And that's, very relatable and real. When we see that just like one light bulb moment and then all of a sudden everything you had comes true, that's a unrealistic path.
Yeah.
Most of our purpose paths are very, winding and a lot of things have to happen. So I love that. And also I love that you found the leadership. And it is true, our leadership starts with ourselves. We are our first client to leader to leadership with others and to show by example. And the more that we are disciplined within ourselves, then that shines and inspires others. So I love that. And I'm so curious to hear what your books are. And yeah, so what does it look like today? What is Stephanie all about? Your books, your online courses, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, the first book that I co-authored a book with one of the women that I met in the leadership training. It was called Womanhood. Actually, wait a minute, I have it right here. I didn't plan this actually, it was just sitting here. But it's called Womanhood, Identity to Intimacy and Everything in Between. And that became an Amazon bestseller. So that gave me like that title to be like, I'm a best-selling author now. And with the same publisher, they're called She Rises Studios. I ended up getting a double book deal. So I'm finishing up my second book, which is my first novel, because this is like a self-development book. This is like a novel that I'm finishing up. It's called Bridging the Digital Divide. And speaking of overcoming things and it not being a one and done thing, this story is about a character. She's kind of an intuitive, eccentric TV showrunner who is forced to work with AI technology by her. Sorry, I got to close the door. There's like a truck going outside, but she's forced to work with AI technology by her board of directors because they're trying to like cut costs in her studio. And at first she like hates this AI because she thinks it's like a blasphemy against creativity, but she gets to know it and it ends up like prompting her into this spiritual memory regression where she unearths this power she has to heal herself and others. And, it's a journey of self-healing, of healing with God, and, finding the love within herself she's always needed to give to another. And
Beautiful.
yeah, and then since that, there's been like other book deals. I got two more book deals along the way. Like when you go for it, when you're with your purpose, and your purpose evolves as you go. But when you go like awakened by your purpose, there's actually a book called The Purpose Awakening that's really good. I recommend people read that for sure. Other things start opening up and coming in. I have like, opportunities to do speaking engagements now, and all the while I'm building my online health business where I'm helping. It's mostly women, but men are welcome too. But women and families, a lot of moms in my business get to come in and like are able to work from home, make more money than they were in any other job, and have more time. That's what I really want to give people is the time to find their purpose and passions and follow them and, make great money that they can put towards whatever they want to put it towards, first, of course, taking care of themselves, but like I want people to have overflow so that they can like build a business, build an empire. Like I'm building a creative empire. I want to have, I don't know. I don't exactly know. God's guiding me on this whole thing too, but I had a vision a while ago about this like creative empire that I want to build with people that want to make like meaningful content and things and books and TV about, finding your purpose and finding God and like up leveling the consciousness of the world with transformative storytelling.
Beautiful. I love that. And, something I didn't mention earlier, but is the crux of everything is, your relationship with God. And that is really the only way to connect to your purpose is to first, surrender ourselves to, hey, we may have a plan. We may think that we know that where we're going, and those roadblocks, God will just be very clear that we're not going in the right direction. And the more we fight that, the more we're fighting an uphill battle, literally. So it's time to, do a U-turn and recalibrate and redirect our energy. And when we are in line with our purpose and we are doing what God really has intended us, things flow naturally. And
Yeah.
so that abundance that you were talking about, you help, your clients get into that abundance state to where they can start giving back. And, that starts with, health and wealth, building your health and wealth and relationships. And of course, our most important relationship is with God. So having that just at the center of everything makes everything just beautiful. So I love that. Well, I want to celebrate, all that you're doing, your book and your online course. I would love to hear what your future plans are. Like you said, you have this vision of a creative empire. I mean, that sounds so amazing. So who are the what I like to call purpose partners? Who are the creatives that you are hoping to, work with and inspire to create this empire?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of building two empires. Like with my in my online business, it's not so much a course, although courses and mentorship are involved with it. It is more showing people how to build their own online business that becomes their own empire that they can then, fund their other empires with if they like, or whatever they're looking to do. But yeah, my vision is to really partner with self-motivated, faith-based, driven women and men who are really looking to make a difference in the world and looking to like really go all in on their dreams, on their goals, and not take and not take no for an answer when it comes to resistance and setbacks, because there are going to be setbacks. That's the thing. When you're going after like your dream, there's going to be roadblocks, and a lot of people give up, and a lot of people give up right when they're about to break through. And it's that perseverance that will really get you through. So yeah, I'm looking for people who are, creative and motivated, and like have that like transformational and entrepreneurial spirit that are looking to make a difference in the world, looking to, like first like set their own lives right so that they can also help others, like the thing about being an entrepreneur and being in business at all is like adding value to the world and helping others. Like the more you help other people get what they want, the more you'll get what you want. It's just how it works. And like it's just as I'm saying it, it feels so like just like a win-win game. That's what we play over here, the way the business works that I run in it's a high ticket health business, is like, I help people make money, I make money, the organization makes money. It's just, and we expand and we grow and, go to heights that like you never would have dreamed possible without, a dream team with you. Because like I was saying with the eating disorder thing, like coming from that, being like, I want to isolate myself. God's like, no, no, no. You're here to work with people. You're here to thrive with people and be like a light for others. Like it's a great gift that he's given me, and I intend to shine with it.
Beautiful. I love that. So, how can people connect with you? What's the easiest way to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm mostly on Facebook right now. I am almost done with my own personal website, but Facebook is where I do a lot of my business and a lot of just connecting with people and sharing the information that I got on my high ticket business, and collaborating on any kind of books or films. So yeah, feel free to find me on Facebook, Stephanie Brandolini. I think there's two Stephanie Brandolinis. There's one fake account. Don't go to the fake account. The one of me is I'm wearing a purple dress in the one right now. It might change in the future, but you'll be able to see me. I look like me.
Awesome. All right. Well, what are some last words of inspiration for our audience and people who are trying to find their purpose? What would you tell them?
Yeah, well, if you're feeling called to something, like it, right? Like there's like I felt it. You might feel it somewhere different in your body, but I felt it like kind of not even just in my heart, but in my soul, which I feel like is like beneath your heart, and it's like this, it's not just a longing, but it's like a knowing that there's something more out there for you. Like a lot of people I talk to are like stuck working in jobs that they know that they don't really want to be working at, and they know that they are meant for more. So if you feel that calling to something like greater, not that like a job is bad, not that anything is bad, but something greater than where you're at, like follow that. And like when you open your mind to that, like people and situations and opportunities will start to come into your life for you to be able to do that. Like you're talking about God, when it comes to God, like he'll show up for you when you really need him, but he usually shows up through other people and other things. Like he is in them giving you the answer. And there was a funny story, not funny really, but like there was some story about a man who's drowning and he's like praying to God for help, and people are throwing life rafts at him. He's like, I'm waiting for God. And God's like, I am throwing them. It's like he's throwing you life rafts left, right, and center usually. Sometimes you can't see them until you open your mind to what's really possible and what's really out there for you, because there's so much more possibility than we're led to believe. And when you start opening your mind, just doors will open.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and journey with us. It's been such an amazing experience to listen, and I'm sure many of our audience are inspired and will connect and collaborate with you in the future to help create your empire and keep impacting and inspiring others. So thank you so much, Stephanie.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was great to talk to you today, and thanks everyone for watching and listening. And I'll see you on the socials, and looking forward to chatting with anyone interested.